What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spectator Mode Podcast. You haven't seen us in the past week or so because our signals got crossed. We land on the wrong planet, and maybe we probably should have sat there. But as always, we're here to bring you some greatest and latest in news, entertainment, and having some fun while doing it. And of course, we got our buddy here in the end who has not been here in quite some time, Baron from LV1 Gaming. What's up, Baron?
Gaming, Mirthwood.
I heard that you were a Call of Duty addict. You might want to get some help for that.
I will say that the game been out for 14 days yet?
No, it has not.
And I'm on my way to the second Prestige.
Oh, dang.
Is it because you got threatened about being called a chicken, or you just had to do it?
I did get threatened. I did get threatened being called a chicken, and I refused to be a chicken, so that's why I did it. And now it's like a pride thing, and I was like, oh, there's things to unlock. There's more things to gain, more loot, more, and more. And
people thought I was addicted when I play Souls-like. See,
you know what it is? It's fun to just turn off and pull a trigger. And then when you got 200 rounds in your LMG, it is amazing because now it turns into an arcade game.
There's nothing like digital murder.
Yeah, digital murder is the best. It's legal too.
There you go.
Better than real murder.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid or a young buck, and we had these games, and we had Doom, and we had all these mods for Doom, and they would just put people in the game that they didn't like or were popular. Oh, those days were the best.
So newgrounds.com, huh?
No, it's better than newgrounds.com. Way better. But we can't
slightly better than Flash.
We can't forget Scott in the middle. I'm sorry, Scott. We can't forget you. Scott's my buddy. We're here to talk about some games. But of course, before we do any of that, I gotta say thank you to everybody who watches the podcast, checks out the show on YouTube, listens to it on countless different applications. I lost my mind there. Because without you guys, there'd be no us. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you. Now, before we start every podcast, with the exception of those that we don't start with every podcast, we talk about the games that we're playing and shows that we are watching. Shows that we're watching is kind of a new thing. I kind of stole it from you guys. So there you go, Baron.
All right. So I've been, I started up a new anime, and I think when it comes to TV, they more or less watch me, because I usually fall asleep to them, and it takes me 6 or 7 times to finally watch the show. Not because it's bad, but just because I'm always going to sleep. So, yeah, a lot of gaming. So I've been watching Suits. I've been glancing over Suits with the missus.
Wait, what? Then, Suits? You said you went from anime to Suits.
Oh, no, my bad. And then I was jumping back. Back to anime. Suits with the wife, which would be a good anime. It definitely would be. But I've been watching, I believe it's called Click something. Basically, they jump in people's minds with cameras, and like they jump into a scenario, a point in the past or the future, and they affect and alter. It's basically Inception, except they jump into the past instead of jumping into the dream world. So they just jump into people's lives and live that life for that moment. Actually, what was that one show? Not Quantum Leap. Was it Quantum Leap?
Will you jump into people's bodies? Yeah, it was Quantum Leap.
It's basically Quantum Leap, except it requires 2 people. One guy lives that life, and then the other guy monitors and saves the information. And they use it to like solve problems and whatnot.
That totally sounds like Quantum Leap.
yeah. I mean, it's basically Quantum Leap. It's
what was the name of the show?
It's like Click something. I'm sorry, I'm butchering. Hold on. Look, let me pull out the old handy dandy phone in which I was.
Because there was like an old TV show that I'm kind of remembering now. It was sort of kind of like the thing, Jumpers or something, or Leap or something like that.
Jumpers. I wish that movie would series would have kept going. I thought it was a great movie.
Now we're talking about old TV shows. Sliders.
I remember Sliders.
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah, that
was that like WB or something like that.
Don't get me lying.
But it's called Link Click, and it's basically Quantum Leap, except anime version.
right, I'll have to look that up. Any games? Well, I'm sorry. Other than
Yes.
Call of Duty.
Yes. Okay. So I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, as you guys know. The game hasn't been out for 2 weeks yet, and I am almost to the second prestige. I'm level 51 prestige.
So if you open up your Steam, how many hours does it say?
Look, I'll do it right now. Game card. Let's see. Official club. Progress. Stats. Oh, I'm ashamed.
What'd it say? Come on.
4 days and some hours.
So, and your wife hasn't said anything.
So the way I've had talks. We've definitely communicated. Now I let her know ahead of time. I was like, hey, it's a lot of streaming that's going to be going on. It's a lot of gaming that's going to be going on, and I still handle all my husband and father duties. But yes, I'm playing a lot of duty. But in a not so AAA news, I also have been playing Mirthwood, which is my new Starbound. So imagine Fable. You know what Starbound is, Scott?
I actually know what Mirthwood is. Actually,
okay.
I thought
you knew what Starbound was. We were about to go. I was about to derail the whole podcast.
Continue.
But yes, so Mirthwood is a mix of Bethesda open world and mission setups, along with Fable NPC character interactions, and then Stardew Valley farming and crafting and trading, and seasonal events and stuff like that, mushed into a hand-drawn children's pop-up book art style. And it's cute while also having a large amount of realism, and like you'll randomly come across like a massacred deer and then a swamp monster who looks like a pop-up book character who's coming to kill you, and you have to fight them or run from them, and then harvest their materials and make a necklace so that humans don't do more damage to you. Yes. But yes, Mirthwood is
sounds like a lot of things.
It is a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. Like, I didn't list all the mechanic, the cooking, the farming, the naming of your farm animals, the relationship building. Yep. It's so much all in one game. And there's a morality and a renown system.
Oh, those are the best. So I can be chaotic evil, or
yes. You can be like when I'm walking around, people are like, "Oh, I know a shifty character when I see him." It's like, I don't like the way that sounds, but I mean, I did steal a lot, so I get it. I guess
I don't get to play a lot of those games. Even then, because I'm such a goody two shoes, and Captain America and Optimus Prime are my idols. I'm like, I'm gonna be an ass, and I go, no, I can't be an ass. So
you're one of those too.
Yeah,
you all feel guilty. How many
times
have you restarted a save file because you did something wrong?
Yes.
It's called the quick save effect, where you're like, I want to see how it plays out, but I can't do my run with it being in effect.
Like,
somebody needs to make a game that everything that you do affects everything. Like there's like a million different possibilities. And the second you make that decision, it saves. And that's it.
What is that, Eve?
It's just like the Souls, like the second you do something, it's like, it saves. Sorry. Like,
well, that's funny enough. That's Mirthwood does kind of have that. There is no different save files. It's one save, which I actually hope they change because I would love to save scum. But yeah, when you do something, it's kind of done. And yeah, the town Mirthwood remembers.
So can you play that on the Steam Deck? Have you tried?
It's not optimized for it yet, but they are working on it. It's a two-man team.
Yeah,
Ridge Games who developed it. Yeah. Shout out to V Publishing.
And you haven't got them on your show to go crazy yet? Why?
Because I went crazy in person and fangirled out at PAX West.
And they're like, this guy, we don't want to talk to this guy ever again.
I'm probably scared that I have a whole thing from 6-1 Indie that has a handwritten note on my wall. It says it's Mirthin time, baby. I think I even it's made its way to like meetings and whatnot. They're like, yeah, this Mirthin time thing. And yeah, I don't think they like it, but I started it.
Fair enough. What else you got?
That is about it. Tonight I'll be playing Dragon Age the Veilguard for the first time because of course I've been busy with Mirthwood because the embargo ended today and of course duty. But shout out to the EA Creator Network. Thank you guys for providing me a code, and I will be streaming that tonight.
Fun.
Sounds like fun. All right, Scott, what you got? We're clocking you, buddy.
Oh, geez. Are you sure you want to clock me this time?
Yes.
I guess first I'll go over the shows, just because that I have less shows than I'm playing. So I finished Agatha All Along this week.
Yeah. Wife and I were like that. We have. She's like, so what about? And I'm like, no, why? Every time.
But honestly, I think they did a really good job. The Marvel shows always have a problem of sticking the landing when it comes to their like Netflix series and stuff. Honestly, they did a pretty decent job ending Agatha All Along, and I think they did a really fantastic job with just having all the reveals accumulate into what happened in the final episode. I'm not going to give any spoilers because that's kind of I want people to actually experience it, because some of the episodes, especially near the end, have some of like the weirdest, rambunctious like reveals. And it's actually really fun when you then go back to rewatch it to be like, oh my gosh, that's what this meant.
I also like how the title is very misleading after you watch the entire show. And it's like, huh? Really? Okay.
I'm my ears are like closed. I'm trying.
We're not spoiling anything.
Well, we're not going to spoil it because it is actually a wild ride and it's really good. Something not as good that I've also been watching is the Like a Dragon series on Amazon Prime.
I skipped it.
I don't think it's a bad series, but I do think that it's kind of it's one of those series that it's not sure if it wants to be similar to like the game or not, and so it tries to kind of be both. And because it tries to be both, it kind of misses in both ways. It's like it wants to do a fun and more engaging storylines in the world of Yakuza with like introducing more of the characters and why Nishiki's the way that he is, and then they still want to have like the weird tension between Kuryu and Nishiki. So they still want to have that going on, but that doesn't really fit with how they've been doing the rest of the series. So it's just a weird like mix mash of things going on.
Is it a show that people will enjoy who haven't played the series?
Honestly, my wife has never even like seen anything but the Ichiban stuff. She actually really enjoys the show. I'm over here like cringing, like, no, this is wrong. No, this is wrong. Or this is actually great, but this is also weird.
Love it. Okay.
So if you're someone who hasn't like watched the series, or I mean, who hasn't played like the games, especially like the first like 5, though this mainly covers like the first 2, like 0 and 1. They kind of mixed both of those together, which is also really weird because for me, it feels like there's pacing issues because they keep going to so many time skips over and over again. It's like, oh, now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're back over here. Now we're over here. And it's just like, why would they keep doing it this way? But my wife, she actually is following it pretty well. And I'm over here like, okay.
I'm excited now.
So that's the problem I guess I have, is the fact that I've played all the games. So I understand a lot more of what's supposed to go on versus what is going on in the show. So I'm a little more mixed on it, but if you're someone who hasn't played like basically the first 3 games, like 0, 1, and 2, because there are some elements of 2 in it. There's also randomly characters from like Judgment in it, so if you follow the Judgment or Lost Judgment, there's that too. It's kind of weird that they're doing it like this, but if people are liking it and if it's a way for more people to get into like the Like a Dragon series, then all for it, because that is a great series.
Are you thinking it's like the Borderland movie effect?
No, because the Borderland movies are straight out bad.
Fallout, or the Fallout effect.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah. But yeah, those are like the main, I guess, shows that I've watched so far. I need to do more with actually watching stuff, but a lot of the time I'm just putting like a show I've already watched in the background as I play games. Like what I've been getting into again is like the Amazon Prime The Tick show.
Oh man,
never watched it.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it was a goofy show. It kept the characteristics of the Tick. It really did.
Yes.
I still think the cartoon show was better though.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Spoon. Love that guy.
Alrighty, now for the game side of things. So the first game that I want to talk about is one I've already have the review up, is Farmagia. This is a game that's basically through the mind of Hiro Mishima, which is the creator of Fairy Tail. And it's done from an interesting kind of like worldview of like you're in the underworld, and the underworld currently is like 5 different islands under like 5 different tribes. And currently there's like what's known as like the Magus, who's like the overlord of it all. And after he's gone, it turns into like kind of chaos where there's one side who wants to take over the other islands, and then the other side that wants to protect the islands. And it turns into a lot of just interesting, I guess, like story and plot elements, but it's all kind of fizzled out with the actual gameplay because it's like a farming simulator game, but it's also about like growing your arsenal of party members by getting more monsters in your party, because you can have up to like 40 different animals in your party in the beginning, and you create them by farming them. You literally grow monsters in your farm and then you add them to your party. And because there's so many different animals you can keep, it kind of is kind of a smodge-bodge of combat where it's just like you can have a few, like there's 4 different types of like monsters. You have your close range attackers, your far range attackers, you have your buffers, and then you have those that are like the foundational formation type monsters, or those that like keep everything together. And my focus was a lot more on the long range and the close range attackers, and having just like the support as more of like a debuff system, where I would debuff the defenses of my opponents and then have my offensive units just take them to the bed. You're gone. And then the formation users are like usually like more defensive, which I didn't really care too much about defense. That I was mostly all about the offense stuff, and then you could just like dodge, and if any of your animals die, you can easily just resurrect them by just walking over them, kind of like in the Pikmin games. And so that entire aspect is fine, but also like they try to get you immersed into the world, but then you don't really go to the world. You go to like what is mazes. Mazes are like kind of a roguelite system where you go from one area of an island to another area of that island. And it's based on if you choose to go to like what's known as like a fairy fruit system, or if you want an item vine system. The fairy fruit gives you passives. The item vine gives you extra collectibles, items that you can use to get like more stuff, or to craft, or even to get more research points, which research points is how you like level up your stuff basically. And there's a lot of different mechanics, and I don't think all of them always fit, but I do think that if you're someone who likes the farming elements of it, you'll like it. But because the farming element is not really a lot of the game, because they limit how much farming you can do in a day. You can only do like a certain amount of actions. You can only like do a certain amount of tilling or watering or everything throughout a day before you have to do the maze before the next day to open up. So there's a lot of things that I liked of Farmagia, but I also don't think it really comes together as best as it could. Next game I played was Shin-Chan, Shiro and the Coal Town. So anyone who knows Shin-Chan, took me
a second to remember when we were talking about it earlier. I was like, Shin-Chan, like, why does that sound familiar?
It's like a slice of life kind of anime that deals with like a kid kind of doing everyday things, and things kind of can get extraterrestrial at times, or just kind of crazy and bonkers. But he just takes it in stride. And this is basically that, but with a lot of different like slice of life elements. Like you can do fishing, you can do like gardening, you can help with collecting bugs, or going after like being able to get more items and unlocking more areas of this like town that your parents are staying at because your dad wants to be there for a work meeting. and your grandparents live there, so you're basically being able to be with Shin-chan's grandparents in this like out of area place in Japan, and then you find this place called the Coal Town, which is like a pre like World War II industrial area where it's just like a bunch of like coal mining and all this like really cool stuff going on. But there's like all of these like different like factions trying to do stuff with the coal. And Shin-chan, of course, is completely oblivious to it and just wants to help people out. So all this like big plot stuff are going behind, and Shin-chan's just like, ooh, a rock. Because he's like
Shin-chan.
a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a crap about politics.
He's a creeper.
Yeah, he is. He does a lot of like, ooh, you're a pretty lady, I'm gonna like you.
Yeah.
Like type of dialogue. And it's one of those things where you don't really need to know about the Shin-chan series to like it, because for the most part, you just kind of get that he's a 6-year-old kid who likes pretty things.
Don't most 6-year-olds?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I didn't. I was evil.
He's out there selling mud cookies.
From what my mom said, I was calling people the F name, cussing people out. So
I mean, it's a
pretty...
so
you were you. Got it.
when you grew up in a family like that where people were constantly calling each other names, yeah, not just my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles. I didn't grow up in a very polite upbringing. Leave it at that.
Gotcha.
Okay. So one thing about Shin-chan I do want to mention though is that even though like the gameplay and everything is super basic, the one thing they went really hard on is the art. Like every single like background in this game is like a freaking watercolor paint, like a watercolor portrait. Like everything is so awesome looking and just like beautiful. So if you want to look at good art, that's one way to do it. But also then you also have to play a game of Shin-chan. Let's see. The next game on my list is I have been actually playing a little bit of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I do think I actually really enjoy it, but I do think it struggles a lot, especially in the beginning of its own pacing. And especially for someone who's like me, who basically played all the Dragon Age games and is ready to see how the end of Inquisition plays out into The Veilguard. And the beginning kind of both excited me, but also made me extremely infuriated. Because of how they deal with Solus.
I'm pretty sure I've heard somebody else complain about that.
So you have to remember, though, that for those of the people who've been following like the development of this game, it went from basically being the game that deals with everything Solus has done to being now the Veilguard, which is after the fact of everything Solus has done, and then tries to repair it. And it's just like, but I want to know more about what happened with Solus than I do want to know about what happened to the world kind of a deal, because that was the big mystery, was what is the Dreadwolf? What is this? What is this going to lead into? And you never get that answered in the beginning. And it's kind of just like, oh, it's one of those things that you realize that they were going for something, but then they got like halfway through and they're like, realized, well, what if we just did a different way to make it so that actual, like, they want to do a game that's more accessible than just the people who follow Dragon Age from Origins to Inquisition. So they wanted to make not as much continuity matter. Which, to be fair, Inquisition kind of did that. Inquisition only really mattered from Dragon Age 2. Nothing that happened in Origins mattered to Inquisition. And that, I mean, some people were not very happy about that, but others were fine with it because Inquisition just had so much more to offer to like the lore and everything to Dragon Age. Because it dealt a lot more with the Veil, with the mages and the Templars.
Wait, time out. Scott, did you just say you felt there was more in Inquisition than Origins?
Oh, here we go.
I say more lore to offer. Not that there's more to offer to players. I think Origins is still the best Dragon Age.
Do you guys need me to leave and you guys can just talk this out?
No.
I think Origins is the best game in Dragon Age. Dragon Age 2 was the one that went straight off a cliff.
Yeah, they definitely.
And then Inquisition, they tried to basically be like, well, forget about 2 except for Hawk. Hawk was great, but everything else in 2 sucked. There's a lot of like Dragon, like if you look into the development of like all the Dragon Age games, you realize that there's a lot of just messiness that goes into it. And you have to realize that not every of these games are going to be perfect. Origins got the closest.
Yeah, it really did. It was so good that I'm scared to go back and play it. because I want to remember it as
you want to remember it the way that you remember.
Yeah, I don't want to pick it up right now and then be like, ooh,
it's weird, especially as someone who started Dragon Age Origins on, say, like I played it originally on the Xbox 360, and I thought it was fantastic. And then I went on it on PC, like back when I got in, I think it was last generation of consoles, back when I was getting myself prepped for Inquisition, and realized that the PC version is completely different than the console version. The command, the controls, like even the dialogue system is different. It was just like, what is this game?
See, nope, I don't know. I do not want to deal with
because especially I replayed Origins so much because of the backgrounds, because you could change everything based on your background, and that even began the game completely different based on the background.
Yep.
That was one thing I didn't like about 2 and Inquisition, is your background meant absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, whereas in Origins, your background meant almost everything. Like if you were
how
the human,
people talk to you,
yeah. If you were an elf, then nobody liked you. If you were a dwarf, then nobody knew who you were. If you were a human, everybody knew about you and pitied you because your entire backstory is nothing but pain and misery.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So yeah, Dragon Age Veilguard, in terms of the lore and stuff, it's nothing too fun or entertaining. Don't get too caught up on it. The story itself is fine. The gameplay, I think, is what's really great about Veilguard, actually playing the game and getting into the system that they have, because they offer a lot of variety in whatever kind of role you choose. I've already played the warrior and the mage a bit. I haven't tried rogue yet. I do think I prefer the mage, but at the same time, I'm also disappointed that the version of the close range mage they brought in isn't anything like the close range mage in Origins, which you got the Mage Knight. The Mage Knight was my favorite class in Origins because it was amazing. And then they kind of did a mix of the both in Veilguard with the Spellblade, where they reduced your range heavily, but they gave you a lot more spells to work with. So it's just I'm very mixed on that, but I am getting more used to the system, and I do think that the game plays very well, and most of the actual fidelity stuff looks really good. I'm playing on PC though, so it may not look as good on a console, but who knows? I've heard that it looks good on PC most of the time because they did a decent job optimizing the game. And so that's the final game I've been playing.
I'm still looking at my watch. I knew it.
I have one more, okay, is Slitterhead. So
wait, no, let me shut up.
Slitterhead is a very unique and creative approach to a horror game, where almost that you are one of the monsters fighting another one of the monsters, and you basically involve the humans in all of it. So they're always terrified of everything that happens, which is kind of funny, but at the same time, a lot of people are not when you look at the reviews and stuff, people aren't happy about it because they don't feel like there's too much, I guess, scariness involved, because they were hoping with the director, who's really popular for all of his games of Silent Hill, they were hoping that Slitterhead was going to be the next Silent Hill. So more scare, more ambience and stuff, but it's more of a action combat horror game that deals with a lot of pretty epic designs. The monsters look grotesque, and they do a lot of stuff with the damaging of parasites, because that's kind of the whole deal of the game, is you are playing as a parasite that goes into other humans to make them do what you want them to do. And it's kind of creative in the sense that you also utilize that as a way to traverse the town. You have a smaller area of Kowloon that for the most part isn't very big, but the difference is it has a lot of verticality to the actual maps. So you have different ways you have to get up to different rooftops and stuff, but you're not Spider-Man, so you can't just climb up there. You got to see different ways of well, this human can do this and this human can do this, or I can try to find a human closer and just take control of their body. So it's all about seeing what you can see and trying to perceive different ways to get through to the puzzles that you find of traversing Kowloon. And there's stealth elements you have to do to get into certain areas, because guns still can kill you. And the military does get involved pretty early on.
It's my only weakness.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed Slitterhead because I really enjoyed the freedom it brings, because you can have so many different ways to solve different ways, and if you solve like a puzzle in a certain way, you can actually also unlock new characters, or you can unlock new things to be able to like get to your arsenal, or you can unlock different routes for your other humans to follow you, which there are like rarities in the game that offer like specialized humans that have specialized abilities that increase a lot more of like their damage and things you can do to the enemies, where the whole basically system is you're trying to prevent the end of the world against these things called slitterheads, which are things that want to eat human brains.
Oh, delicious.
Exactly. But okay, that is my list.
What'd you clock him at?
Oh man, he was like at 15 minutes.
Nice.
Scott never fails to disappoint. It's great that I love the fact that he loves playing his games. So I'm gonna keep it brief. As far as what I've been watching a lot of The Wild Robot. My wife loves that movie, and it's a great movie, but it also makes me feel bad because another movie about robots didn't do as well as that one. Seriously, people go watch Transformers 1. You're really missing out. Go watch that damn movie. Metaphor Refantasio is the game on my list. I have not played anything but that. I'm trying to beat the game. As I mentioned to you guys, I'm over 100 hours. I'm at the very last dungeon.
Dang.
I'm there. But the problem I have with this game is the blasted time system and the fact that it doesn't let you really level up as much as you want to. And it's between the time system and then you also have the different archetypes and you want to level up the archetypes.
Yeah, there's a ton.
The archetypes are really pain in the butt. And an exception is really great. But then it's like, okay, if you want the best archetype, you got to get this. Okay, but before you can do that, you got to have a relationship level with this person, and then that person, and then that person. Then you got to get the archetype and level up this one to get that one. It's like, oh my God, Atlas, why did you make this so freaking complex? It's a fun game, but you're bogging it down. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I just want to get through, and I play and I play and I play. You know what? I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. It's a great game, but the end of the game, it bogs down way too damn much. Great game, but other than that, yeah, I'm not allowed to play anything. I'm forcing myself not to play anything other than that until I beat it. With the exception of one game that was an open beta that we'll talk about in a bit. So let's get to some of the news here and just put the time down real quick. So if you guys use Steam, you're going to be very happy that Valve has been working on its own game recorder for quite some time, and it finally came out of beta. What, today?
Today or yesterday.
Yeah, and then my neck is killing me. It is a very good I wouldn't say replacement, but a good alternative to using OBS, and also great for people who are playing on AMD systems that don't have access to NVIDIA's Shadowplay. Bitrate isn't as high as those, but I think it's a lot more user-friendly. And the fact that you can actually set it up to record in the background. So it holds up to 2 hours of gameplay in the background, which is really cool. So you can tell to just start as you're playing games, or just set it in Steam, and the moment you launch a game, it will record in the background. So like, oh, I beat this guy and I totally forgot to start the recorder. It's our recording for you. And the nice thing about that is once it hits that 120 minutes, it kills that save and starts the nil. So it's never going to kill your space unless you do something dumb. There's also another option that you can actually set the quality that you want to record in and how long you want to record per game.
Oh wow.
So you can say, I want Elden Ring to record in high quality for 60 minutes and Dark Souls 3 record in medium quality for an hour and 20 minutes. And you can just tell it to do it. And as long as you're playing the game, it will do the threshold that you set. It's really good. I think Valve has something really nice here. Now, I know a lot of people haven't, I should say a lot of people I've been reading up on Reddit are saying they're having issues. I've been using it and it works fine for me. So that's one of the things about PC gaming. But yeah, Baron's face is like, really? Yeah, it's really good.
So my first question was going to be, is it available on like the handhelds?
Yes, it is. It is. I haven't tried it on my Steam Deck, but it is available right.
That opens up so much.
Yeah, it's available in the ROG Ally, right? Because I'm using Bazit and it's on there right now.
That's such a game changer. Like I've been stressing that. Like I'm afraid of playing my newer titles on my ROG because I'm like, I need to capture this.
Yeah.
And is it like on your account so I can go to my desktop and
no? So the bad thing is it saves it directly to the machine, but you can share
monkey's paw.
You can share it to other Steam devices. So basically, if you have them all on the same network, it'll go, hey, I see your machine over there. It's running Steam, and you can tell it to send whatever you save to that machine.
Ooh.
Or you can get a link and it uploads it to Steam for a little bit. You can grab that link and download it from that link and have it on there as well. Or if you have it open and somebody say I'm like, hey, look at this cool video I got, and I can send you it in chat on Steam.
So are they really working hard to build up like a social network within Steam? Is that what's happening?
I don't know if they're doing
I feel like this is the first steps.
I think this is because a lot of people are like, we need something in Steam to record games.
Yeah.
And especially on Steam Deck, and there wasn't anything unless you bought some kind of weird external
capture card.
Or you bought that one from Avra Media that doesn't work with the ROG Ally X because it's too thick. So that's really, really encouraging. We're glad to see Valve is working on more things. I do think that maybe they need to put a little more effort. Oh, the great thing, another thing about that, hang on, is you can actually edit it. You can actually edit within you can trim and take out what you don't want. So if you look at the Outerhaven, there's a picture of what I did in the game, and it shows you the timeline. So you can go, I want to select here and here and here and here and trim out what you don't want. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
This sounds like butter. And I imagine it doesn't eat up anything because it's running within something that's already running.
Yeah,
no, it does. It does. It doesn't do as much. So there's H.264 and there's H.265, which is HEVC, which is less compression.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, doesn't take up as much bit rate, and it's more compressed.
So because you said you've been using it.
Yeah.
How's your experience been in terms of the game running? Have you noticed any dip in quality or
no? But at the same time, I'm not a good candidate to be tested it with.
Because I'm thinking, ooh, man.
And I can't try it on other machines. They're both like pretty beefy machines, so I can't really do anything with that, unfortunately.
I'm excited. So is this just available native on the ROG Ally, or do
no? You for ROG Ally, you gotta wait, back up. No, if you have Steam on it.
It's native on the Steam app, and ROG Ally just use the Windows versions. So you should be set for that.
Okay.
I just use Bazit, so I keep forgetting that ROG Ally has Windows. I don't use that anymore.
Windows,
Windows. I don't use Windows in gaming on my mobile devices anymore. No, I'm done. But no, it's good to see that they're doing that. Speaking of which, since you won't do it, Scott and I have done it. Monster Hunter had a beta this past weekend.
Yes.
Oh my god! You have no idea because at Summer Game Fest we weren't allowed to play the game. We could just look at it, and I was like, "God damn it, I want to play the game!" And
we just got to see it running.
And then at PAX West, it was like
mile long.
Yeah, forget about it. Forget about it.
No
You're not
press appointments or anything. Capcom's just like, if you show up and there's a room, you can play it.
Yeah, so, and I was like, God, I want to play it so much. But
because there's no press appointments, all the press was always over there.
Right. So I was doing my job, so I couldn't play it. So I was kind of frustrated.
Yeah, I'll use that excuse.
So
we had appointments with everybody.
It was really good to finally play it. And even though it was a very, 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 very small slice of the game, what they showed us was great. We got to see how the hunts worked. We got to see the really cool map that some people really don't like. We got to see the actual the land and how the weather really affects how you play and how it changes the landscape and everything. It was, oh my god. And also the fact that weather also changes certain creatures being in the area. Because there was a dragon, I forgot what it was, that only came out during the thunderstorm,
the lightning storms.
Yeah,
which was annoying.
So there's weather locked monsters.
Yes.
And this specific one was a freaking butt.
Yeah, so we were playing as a group. First of all, I'll circle back on the group play, but we were playing as a group and we were trying to kill it. And we had this one guy, Will, we're calling you out, who's just going crazy. I know Will loves these monster games. He just goes crazy playing these games. It's really nice to see how enthusiastic he is playing these games. He loves it. He's really having fun playing this game. So it was really cool. But yeah, we already said that we need 4 copies of this game to play. Capcom, watch it. We need 4 copies of this game to test it because the crossplay is, holy crap, phenomenal.
It's great.
Is it drop in, drop out?
We don't know. No, it is. It kind of is. It
kind of is.
Because so the way it works is you don't connect like your conventional sense. Basically what you do is you send invites to people and they're actually virtual links. So yeah, so what happens after you send an invite, and then what happens after that is once you have the people in your party, it's like a virtual link again. So like I throw a rope to you, to you, to you, to you, to you, to you. All right, we're all connected now. So then after that, you tell it to say make it an environmental
link. Yep.
And then it basically puts you all in the same place.
One lobby, and you're just like epic.
Can you guys go off and do different hunts?
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, literally. Because there were times where they were in one place and I was on the other side of the map. Yeah, it was the invite system sucks.
It does,
but it's a proprietary system that Capcom did to get around using like Steam names and PlayStation names.
Gotcha.
So it's their own thing. And you don't have like your name, you just have like 825695660.
The unique identifier system.
But the cool thing is once you find your peoples, when you get them invited, you can say add this as my friend. So then it identifies them next time you play.
Yep.
But the very first time it sucks.
Yeah, when you're finding people, you're just like, I don't understand these hunter links.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
It's a good thing that we were all on Discord, so we could actually look at all the systems.
And the voice, the Outerhaven. Why can't I say Outerhaven? Why I can't say that word? Environmental. I'm going crazy. The Outerhaven. Forget it.
Environmental link.
I can't say it today because I'm kind of pissed off. But anyway, also has voice chat, which is really cool. So you don't have to. So you don't have to worry about people going, "Oh, you suck." You can just connect to the people you want to play with.
Yeah.
So the gameplay was solid. With the exception of I did notice, and everybody on the internet has said the same thing. There's an issue of hit stop where the impacts don't feel as meaty as they used to in the other Monster games. So Capcom was doing something. They were messing with the formula. They need to fix it. And hopefully
too many changes.
I just want to give out concussions to as many monsters as possible.
Oh, and you can, and they were. Yeah. It was. But my one of my cool things was I was using the light and the heavy bow gun, and you can get on top of your mount, which I love more than my dogs now. I kind of want one of those things in real life. You can mount it on your thing. You're just running around. You're taking pot shots, like poof, poof, and just shooting things. And they're like, "What?" And they can't catch you because you're on the mount running. It's so good. The only thing I didn't see, and again maybe because I was using the bow gun more than anything, is the ability to mount the creatures. Did you guys do that?
I did that a lot. I use the insect glaive, so I kind of need to do that.
I think they got rid of the claw though. The claw that was in World.
I don't think they have the claw.
Yeah, that made it easy to mount, and it's not there. So
so they changed mounting, I think, based on what I remember from World. World, you were able to basically press a button and mount. In Wild, you had to basically force yourself to be in a certain angle to be able to then latch on with one of your attacks.
Yeah.
But once you were mounted, you could move around him to like the different parts of the body. and then just start whacking on the thing. So that's still fun.
Does it feel like it's more engaging, or does it feel?
Oh yeah,
it feels very engaging.
Oh yeah,
like when you're mounted and they're like moving, you can hold like the trigger and it'll brace so that you'll have less of your stamina taken when they try to move you off.
Oh, nice.
And then like I'd get closer to their head and keep smashing my insect glaive into it. Or what you can do, which is actually
I take that back. I did it once with the sword and shield, and with the sword and shield, I don't remember doing it with World. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I was able to hit them with the shield. I was basically taking the shield and just slamming it down and slamming it down and slamming it down, or hitting them with the weapon. It was like, all right, I'm Johnny Walker now. Should be doing that.
Yeah, so one thing that I noticed you could do when you're mounted is there's a little knife attack you can do that you can just pull out from like your like leg or something and put a little opening for yourself to injure them further when you're attacking with your real weapon. And it's pretty insane.
Create weak spots.
Yeah.
There's a focus system, but I don't really care too much.
The focus system, I think I need to get more used to it. But yeah, once they have like an injury, you can hold like one of the triggers and it will give you like a little cursor. And then when you focus on like a weak spot, it'll turn red. And then you can press like the R1 button instead of your normal attack button. And then you'll do like a special like extra damaged weakness ability. And then it makes it a lot easier to then break off wounds. Even if some like the Radaws, which is like the giant like lightning dragon we fought, it takes a lot of effort to get rid of his tail.
Got it. I'm trying to collect left hooves on every
but I don't know how many people actually can be in a party. I actually didn't pay attention because it was just 4 of us.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but I know you said you don't want to play the game until the full thing comes out, but what we played was fun, and also the character creation was amazing. It's really good. It's really good. People have been sitting there making different, like somebody made a Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I've seen
somebody
that
made a couple Yoshi P's, and I'm like, wow, you guys have dedication. I just want to make my characters jump into the game, which I always make characters of my wife, and she always comes and go, Did you do that? Yes. I did the thing again. It looks like you. Sorry. It's great. Capcom has something amazing on their hands. The only problem is people have been complaining about the performance. It's a beta. We don't know how far along that beta was, but there were people on YouTube and freaking making articles trying to get in their 15 minutes or seconds of glory. Go, look how shitty this looked. Well, you dropped it to the lowest setting. What the hell do you expect, bro? Don't do that. I hate when people do that. It looks terrible. Well, you got it all low. I can't play because you don't meet the minimum specs. Or running games at minimum specs, as I said before, is a really bad way to go.
Yeah.
You should be doing recommended specs, not minimum specs. If you're running a game at minimum specs, don't play it.
What do you mean? I can't run it on my standard hard drive? I got to run it on an SSD.
Oh, you poking fun at your stuff there? Yeah, it tells you that it don't do that, Darren.
Very few games, especially in these generations, should be run on a hard drive anymore.
Yeah, hard drives life, and the sun is done. Unfortunately, don't.
It was fun while it lasted.
Buried them in the backyard. Sorry, pulling out for the hard drive. It's done. Sorry, buddy.
Have you guys ever went back and found like I went back to my parents and I found my old listen to this, my old 500 gig powered external hard drive, because it needed power because it was working so hard. And now that same thing is on a thumb drive that big.
Yeah. I think I found my old terabyte one that was like a giant brick that you had like the AC adapter for, and then you had to have like a USB, and then it's
I remember those things
because you had the USB that lights up the disk drive, and then you have the one that actually connects to the drive.
Probably sounded like a jet engine.
Now you got solid state drives this big. That's like 20 terabytes. Like damn.
Yeah, no, I have a 4 terabyte one that's like the size of my palm, and it's just doesn't need anything.
Yeah, like it's funny. My cheap one now is a SSD, and it's like that big, and it's like 500.
Technology has come such a far way.
Such a trip.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely looking forward to playing Monster Hunter. It comes out February 28th, 2025. It's End of February. It's going to be the last game of February. And it's going to be the only game people play for months on end. Speaking of playing a game on months on end, Sega has finally announced they're working on a brand new Virtua Fighter game, and that's all they said.
What else do you need?
More?
What else do you need?
I will say this: next to Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter was my game. I used to play that game nonstop. Oh man! And then they were like, "Oh, no more." Like, you mean no more? No more. We're done.
I'm excited to see what they're planning for it, even if we have no idea what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing. I all I can hope is that they're working with the people that play Virtua Fighter religiously and are still playing it, and bring them in, and maybe not do a Capcom and get rid of all the cast and bring new people in. Sorry, Ken and Ryu can only be in Street Fighter, but so much Capcom can only finagle the Street Fighter timeline that they can stay in the game, but so long, because Street Fighter 3 was supposed to be the end, and now look at it.
They did have all new characters.
3 was the
end. Do you think they'll do a full retcon, like just start over and reintroduce Virtua Fighter to the world?
No, I think if they did that, people will get very pissed off.
I want to be surprised if they do more of the reboot angle, where it's just their cast is just older, so they have to have newer people.
But you gotta have Jackie because he's faster than lightning, just maybe not as fast. Or Sarah.
He's fat. He's almost as fast as lightning now.
I used to be as fast as lightning.
He's a cheetah. The fastest land mammal.
I cannot wait. I am super excited for this. Again, I wish I knew more, but hey, at least they're finally acknowledged that it's coming out. Thank God. We'll see it in 2026, maybe.
Look at you being nice.
Maybe. But we got something else that is doesn't make a lot of sense. Let me just put the time in here. Nintendo, oh you Nintendo. Oh, for the love of God. All right, we back up for I want to say a couple months now. Nintendo's been going on to YouTube and tell people who have Nintendo Music to get that off the channel, or they're going to get the channel closed. And for the longest while, people were like, why? There's millions of Nintendo songs on YouTube. There still is.
Yeah.
But come to find out, Nintendo wanted to host their own game music thing on the Switch and on handhelds or Android. Is it on iOS?
I don't know if there is iOS or not on it. I think there should be.
That you can basically play Nintendo music if you have Nintendo Switch online subscription.
I feel like Nintendo is going full Disney. Really, I really do. Think about it. They're coming out with so many things that are not gaming. They had the clock. They had I feel like they're I'm waiting for the Super Mario refrigerator. Or your Ring doorbell is now something from Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It looks like the key card. I'm waiting. It sounds silly, but they came out with a clock that sold very well.
They came out with cardboard that sold very well.
Very well. I think they're really starting to just lean into it. People clearly want our stuff, so let's give it to them however we can. And they're doing it.
It is on iOS. So Android and iOS. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, but then again, what more do you need to have a skin and some albums from Nintendo games?
Yeah, I mean, they already have all their music, hopefully.
They've got a lot. They've got a lot on there. I was kind of tempted to check it out just to see, but at the same time, I'm like, not that I don't have some kind of Nintendo music anywhere around here anyway, Nintendo. Somewhere. I mean,
we won't let them know that.
I mean, it's a great way to get people in touch with Nintendo music for those who don't have that music or the ability to have their music, or maybe just wants to support Nintendo in every way they can. But there are some albums on here that I haven't heard in a while, like Dr. Mario. Wow, okay. Yeah, if you go to the website, they have a little listing of what they have on there. It's pretty cool.
I feel like such a fraud that I've never really been into too many video game soundtracks. joining up with the gaming community, because at the level that I'm at, it's still fairly new to me. Like I think I'm only like 4 or 5 years in, and when I found out how many people actually really listen to video game soundtracks like on a regular, I was like, "Oh, am I not a real gamer? Like, am I not a like?"
So here's the thing. So video game music has come a very long way to the point where it is basically mainstream music. You've got
Yes.
folk orchestras, you've got rappers, you've got people that were making music on YouTube are now singing in Nintendo sound albums and stuff. This is ridiculous. If you listen to some of the music that I listen to, you were like, that's music. Yeah. If you ever played Anarchy Reigns or Mad World, was it Mad World? Yes, on the Wii.
Yeah.
It's all rap.
See, that's badass.
You would never even know if it was from a game.
See, it's just so funny because it always makes me question my gaming, like my position in gaming. I was like, I'm not a gamer. I'm not as much of a gamer as I thought I was. No, because like you guys know, when you go on social media, people are screenshotting like, this is what I'm listening to right now, and I'm like, that's the soundtrack from Street Fighter 2. Like I don't like you're just bumping that. Like I wouldn't even. But then again, I'm listening to audiobooks all day, so that's just me. Because
if you're not much of a music listener, then sure. I think my most listened to soundtrack is still like Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh my god, Persona music just like stays in my stuff. Like Time to Make History or Mass Destruct. Mass Destruction was in my playlist for like months. Mass Destruction lives in my brain. Literally just lives in my brain.
But you know what though, I was always big into like New Music Tuesdays, and when it came to like with hip hop and whatnot. So I remember I used to always be at Target and Walmart buying albums. Like that was my thing. But in terms of video game music, it never like, hey, go listen to that soundtrack. I'm like, okay, like it's such a trip. And I don't know if that's a rabbit hole I want to go down, because that's opening a whole new door to a whole new things of collectibles, and like I already got records and stuff. Like, you guys can't see my background. I got enough stuff, and that's all I need is to get into video. Like I almost went and looked for the Gris soundtrack or album. I really did. After beating that game, I cried like a baby. But
have you played Metaphor ReFantazio yet?
No, because I know what's gonna happen. I'm scared to play it.
Just go on YouTube and search up Warriors of Valor or Warriors
is that the battle music?
Oh yes.
Yeah. I even watched the live monk singing it. Like, that was badass.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. But yeah, Nintendo music is a thing, guys. So support music legally and always have to battle
if you can.
This is coming from the guy who ran a music game for like 10 years. So
yeah, there are some developers that don't put their music out for you to support.
Speaking of developers, did you hear about the one company called Private Division that got sold?
I did hear about that.
But who bought them? They got sold to nobody, apparently.
Unlicensed partner that got bought for an unlicensed amount.
I'm telling you, it's Microsoft. It's Microsoft.
Is this what we're gonna start seeing? Like I think I said it here. I was like, I'm waiting for IPs to start getting traded like Pokemon cards, and that's where we're at. I think that's what we're witnessing in real time.
It's interesting that the only thing that Take-Two kept was the No Rest for the Wicked IP and its game. But like everything else, they're like, yeah.
Oh, because that's a major hit. You know that was one of the games. I was like, what's going to happen in this game? Like, no, we're not getting rid of this.
It's like, yeah, but I mean, Roller Dome was pretty good too, but I guess it wasn't big enough.
Yeah. And Ollie, it was like, nope, we're killing that. Sorry, bye.
Yeah.
Like, why? It was such a nope, we're killing it. Bye.
Didn't Ollie World 2 do well?
They all did well.
All of them, like, I think, made most of their budget back. So all of them were successful. I guess that doesn't matter because the reasoning that Take-Two gave us was they're more interested in AAA titles than they are to indie games, which is kind of sad.
We've heard that song and dance time and time again.
Quadruple A, let's go.
Yeah, they're pulling the Square Enix effect of we don't want AA titles anymore. Only AAA or bust.
Well, isn't that what EA said too? Like we're not doing it anymore.
But isn't it funny that these games were like built up on the backs of AA titles? Like I think of Take-Two and Rockstar. Like it just, I'm like all of these things were AA games. Yes. Like that was the. I just want my Warriors.
Let the frustration out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Warriors remake. Give me the Warriors. Give me Bully 2. Give me Undead Nightmare 2. Give me I know we're here to talk about Private Division. Okay, let's roll it back.
So the thing here with Outerhaven is that we always go on tangents. There's never a podcast we don't go on a tangent.
If we're not on a tangent, it's not a proper spectator mode.
We go on tangents all the time. So go for it.
I just literally before the Curse of the Golden Goose. I can't wait for the documentaries and deep studies. I did a very light one. That was my very first article I ever wrote about. Was or at least the one I submitted to get into level 1 gaming was the Curse of the Golden Goose. Like what happens when you make the perfect game? And Rockstar did it. GTA 5 is the perfect game. And it's the perfect game because it's being used it's a social platform. It's everything and nothing at the same time. And it prints money more than the federal government. It
has a huge passive income.
It just, there is no need. They didn't have to come out with Grand Theft Auto 6. No, they didn't have to. They really didn't. And I want to see the documentary about the transition from walking away from perfection, not in the sense of I think it's a perfect game, but just in the way the world is treating it and spending money on it. It's the perfect game. How do you sit in front of a boardroom and say we need to make another one?
Yeah.
Like, how? Like, this game has been out for 3 generations. 3 generations.
And it's still a huge online community.
One of the top played games across all platforms. And it's still one of the top selling games. Good luck buying a physical copy for cheap.
Yeah.
Digital copies, you got to catch on sales. It's insane. But the point of me even bringing it up is that before GTA 5, Take-Two, Rockstar, all of it was it was such a variety. Everything from monster trucks to table tennis. Like Oni, they even published North American Oni. Like it's just so much happened. I mean, what did we get? Like 3 Grand Theft Auto games in 5 years? Like just crazy. And then the goose laid a golden egg. And all creativity died.
Doesn't that suck?
It's the curse of the golden goose. How do I argue? And I get it, right? Like I truly understand. How do I sit here? I couldn't imagine being the guy to pitch GTA 6.
So I was about to ask you. So are you saying you have no faith in GTA 6?
No. Because funny enough, I never fully explored all that GTA 5 had to offer. So I know that I'm going to enjoy GTA 6, but I'm talking from the scale of as a business. Why would I spend money when we're printing money?
But they still need to make new copies of the game.
Yeah, like we still print hot, fresh prints. There's new SKUs.
Yeah.
Like these are not the same circulation of disc from Xbox 360.
No.
This is the new Skyrim. It's the new Skyrim. You can play it on your freaking. I'm waiting to play GTA on my refrigerator. But could you imagine being that guy to pitch? Like, hey, so I know we've been making $1 million plus a week
on this game.
Yeah, we've made an ungodly amount of money on this game. How about we take some of that money? Wait. Before you go off, we take some of that money and we get these guys who've been sitting on their hands, staying ahead of hackers, and let's let them develop something new. Wait, it's gonna cost how much? Well, we don't know yet.
Oh man, I want to see
open your
game cost.
Open your checkbook and trust us. Even though it's like Microsoft creating another Word document like program.
Oh jeez.
It's the best way I could describe it. Like,
are we going to go on a limb and say that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to probably be the most expensive game that's ever been created?
Easy.
Because it sounds like it's going to be
easy. If it's anything.
How much did GTA? Let me just see.
Yeah. Please let me know how much GTA 5 costs, because that's and it's crazy the fact that a game that came out three console generations
ago cost $265 million to develop and publish.
That's it.
Yeah. Man, that feels like it's so
how
little
long ago that was.
but just let's just pause and stick there. How do you tell the board members, hey guys, so this game that you only spent $200 million on 15 years ago, we want you to spend triple that on the low end. On the low end, we're being nice. Concord costs what, 200 million, 400?
Between those two price points,
yeah,
I don't think they don't have the definite number,
but they're saying 200 million.
Yeah.
Okay, Concord, which was not what I thought it was going to be. It was a it was a shooter, arena, but you guys
hero shooter,
hero shooter costs this game. Oh my god, man!
It's going to be much more than 265 million.
I think on a very low end, I think 600 million.
Yeah, it's.
I think 600 million easy. You got to think about the music that's going to be there, all the different famous.
Especially if they're going to be licensing stuff, because they're already trying to work on licensing like personages.
Yeah,
so, that can't be too fun.
I wonder how much of that is playing into how long it's taking for the game to come out. The licensing.
Have they said how long it's been taking for them to? How long they've been developing 6?
I didn't look into.
I don't know if they've actually said how long it's been. They've been developing it. Ironically, they've been developing it pretty quietly.
Because once again,
they said it's been in development since 2014. So
okay, yeah,
been a while.
Jeez, they've been developing it quietly.
I won't get GTA 7 until I have grandkids. Is that what you're telling me? Are you kidding me?
No. There won't be a great. See, here's what's going to happen. So they're going to keep selling Grand Theft Auto 5 until 6 finally comes out and recoups what they made, what they put in development. At that point, they'll kill 5, move everything over to 6. So all that stuff you had in 5, now do it in 6.
Yeah. Any of the people who are big on the GTA Online community with all the things you acquired, good luck.
Man, oh man. That casino you got? Good luck, buddy.
Hope you like redoing a bunch of heists.
Hey, what if they force people to sell? It's all eminent domain digitally. They come in and take up all your property and cars and give you have shark credit.
The GameStop effect. No.
Oh God. Oh, it's gonna be insane. But yeah. Private division. Yeah.
Microsoft bought it. I'm telling you. Is it Microsoft or the Eraser?
I really hope it's not the Embracer group.
I thought it was Embracers. Yeah.
It is. We call them the Eraser because what they do.
I like that. Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Didn't it kind of throw you guys off seeing Tomb Raider get treated that way as an IP?
No, it
wasn't that absolutely discarded.
Yeah, when I seen that, that's why I keep saying Pokemon cards. I was like, because if Tomb Raider and Crash Bandicoot can be like thrown around like no big deal, that means everything is up for grabs.
Yeah.
And like, because you think these are staple things. Like Tomb Raider is a core figure in gaming and a core pillar in gaming, and
She's
it's
like
being
the
bounced
main
around.
female.
Yeah, yeah. And it's being bounced around like it's just any IP. Like, so that I think we're in for Pokemon trading cards of IPs.
I mean, the only good thing you can kind of say about the Tomb Raider stuff is at least now there's a lot more hands on the property.
True.
But that's also a problem.
Very true.
The fact that an iconic IP such as Tomb Raider was treated like trash.
Yeah.
Which just like this was his Tomb Raider is history.
Yeah.
She was not only, and I hate to say it, she was a sex icon. She was a badass babe, and it's like what she fought dinosaurs with dual pistols.
Let them have it.
What happened? Yeah. And despite what people say, I don't think the reboots were bad. I enjoyed them.
I don't think they're bad either. And I think they sold decently enough.
They did.
Square Enix had the big expectation problem where they're like, it didn't make more billions. Just like it sold like in the millions, most of them did.
It's kind of hard to meet expectations when your expectations are unrealistic.
Yeah. We expect everything to do Final Fantasy VII numbers. You can't expect that anymore.
Which Final Fantasy VII though? Because the new one didn't do well. Apparently, we needed to put it on other platforms to recoup our monies.
And 7 Remake apparently was in line, and then Rebirth was not in line.
None are like, we're not doing this anymore. Like, oh, you mean you're not making any backroom deals with Sony anymore? No. Oh. See, the thing what you forgot is people grew up playing PlayStation 2 and 3, but they're not still just playing PlayStation. There's a lot of people who grew up playing PlayStation that don't play PlayStation like that at all.
True.
So
yeah, except Rise of the Ronin. God, that was amazing.
See, and that's a topic that we'll be talking about later on. In the interest of time, because Baron can't be here for much longer, it's 9:00. Let's no, this is what we do. We do tangents here. Let's move on to the next topic. I just get the time here, and that is Nintendo. The new Nintendo. Why are people calling it the Switch? We don't know what it's going to be called. New
Nintendo Switch. If they don't do that, they have. Oh my god,
it's going to be all right. Switch you. There you go.
Oh, please no.
You.
The curse.
The Nintendo Switch successor.
Whatever this thing is going to be, it's going to be backwards compatible with the original Nintendo Switch, but apparently there's a catch. As I've been reading, Nintendo hasn't stated how that's going to work.
They've only said that the software of Nintendo Switch will work with the Nintendo Switch successor. So that could mean a great variety of things.
Yes.
It could mean that it's digitally, all your downloads and your entire library will be able to be moved over to the new successor. It could also mean that, hey, maybe it has a cartridge reader for Nintendo Switch cartridges.
Maybe you just put the cartridge in and it downloads it from the store. Now it's yours. And it blows up your whole game. It just, it's dead.
It's going to be interesting of what that actually means, because they worded that in a very precarious way.
Yes.
But at the same time, another thing that they did say is that the way that Nintendo Switch Online right now is operating will be the same way it operates on the Switch successor, for good and for bad. For good means all of their Switch classics, all the games that you get from the classics library will probably be moving with it to the successor. Maybe more, maybe not. There's still the actual account will still be working with you, which is good. So you don't have to do it like the DS to the 3DS, where you had a whole new Nintendo account have to move over. So hopefully that means that now that the Nintendo accounts that we have, or those that have Nintendo accounts, will actually retain that Nintendo account. You don't have to make a new one for the new system. But again, this is still very precariously worded in the sense of we need to let you know this now.
And this is also Nintendo, so expect anything.
Anything.
I'm wondering if we're gonna get that whole hybrid thing for the first like run of the console, like we did with the DS. Remember how it had the dual slot at first, but then after, like if you didn't have an OG DS, you don't have dual.
Game
like
Boy
I
Advance
still
stuff.
have my OG. You know,
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do something like that where the first run of it will be capable, and then there'll be another SKU.
Yeah.
Within the, like if you don't get the first run of them, we tried, you guys, it didn't sell well. You guys were playing only the new games. I could see them doing that because I've done it plenty of other times. Oh god, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of possibilities. We don't know if like game preservation is on their future.
Game preservation.
But and with Nintendo, it's a very hit and miss when it comes to that. They are not consistent at all.
No, not at all.
The thing they're consistent about is don't emulate their games. So they will find you.
Don't you draw their pictures? I don't want you to. Did we draw that Mario or did you draw that Mario?
It doesn't make a difference. It's our likeness. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. What do you mean you're a plumber, huh?
We have a patent on all things jumping. How did you do that? We just do.
Sir, did your character in that game that's coming up accidentally hit his head on a block and something came out? We're gonna have to talk about that. Did you just break that vase open in order to get loot?
So I think this is more of a positive thing than anything, in the sense that there is some form of backwards compatibility being worked on with the Switch successor, which is something that I know personally that was something that I was really worried about. I'm someone who has a very vast library of Nintendo Switch games, both physically and digitally, because Nintendo Switch is one of the few consoles that plays it from the cartridge. You don't have to download crap.
And that's why I buy physical Switch games.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's going to be our timeline's bottle caps when the world ends.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Switch cartridges. Like, I really like. That's my. Like, oh, what is that? It's Goku. It's what was that? Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Yeah, that's a copy of Kakarot. give him the water. What can I get for this? What was that Howie Mandel game show? The price. What can I get for this? This cartridge, please. We got 100 of those. Those are the pennies.
Everybody has Mario Kart 7 cartridges.
Yeah. Bring in something else. I need that canister.
So, yeah, it's good on Nintendo. We'll find out. When did they say next year? We're gonna get it next year.
Yeah, most likely we'll get it in like the end of the first quarter, kind of a deal. So like March, April.
It better come out with a brand new Mario game. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we've been kind of radio silent on a lot of their first party things for what's going to come, but we do know that if it is going to be in March, it'll be around the same time as Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. They announced that game as well,
which is something that I've also been wanting for on the Switch for a while, because it's been like the one quality Wii U game that didn't make the cut to get to Nintendo Switch. Like everything else did. I mean, unless it was like a remaster from the Wii or the GameCube, but we don't really need a remaster to get on the Switch.
But unless we won't get a new F-Zero.
If it's Wind Waker, I will take it.
Need that new F-Zero. God, sorry.
But yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out in March 2025. Very excited. Gonna have all the Xenoblade Chronicles game on one console.
Does the church know of this?
They could just do like a combination or a component, just put it together in one. Oh wait, you can on Nintendo Switch.
I mean, I wonder what their like supposedly physical thing for the Switch successor is gonna be. Is it gonna be still cartridges, or are they gonna do like, I don't know. I don't think they'll do discs. I think they're pretty against discs right now. They might do, I guess, bigger like SD type cartridges.
Oh,
that would be interesting.
It's gonna look like the freaking like the housing unit for the adapters.
Yes,
the adapter size. Oh, that's probably how they're gonna get us, dude. They're gonna sell. It's gonna come with an adapter that you have to buy that you insert
the
your
old
Switch
cartridge in.
Yeah,
I can see that.
That's I could totally see that.
I'd buy at least one of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not like $100 or something.
Bro, that's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I feel like they do want to have larger capacities, especially because if the specs that we have leaked for the Switch successor are true, that means they have a lot more RAM and data storage that they're going to have to be working with. So if they do want to have bigger like games, it will probably require bigger cartridges.
So you think we're getting like PlayStation 4 level kind of gaming now?
It really depends.
64.
There you go.
Pack.
It really depends if it's like the specs will be PS4 or if like the quality will be PS4. It might be underpowered of a PS4, but it might be with like the NVIDIA technology, might be able to reach that level of capability.
But this is a company that gives us like super duper video cards. I'm sure they can do it.
I'm sure they could, but NVIDIA made the Switch chip before.
That wasn't exactly the most your Switch too.
Oh, Nintendo. All right, speaking. Wow, Keith, good job. You can't speak English tonight. Speaking of consoles and Nintendo Switches, how about that PlayStation 5 Pro?
Ooh.
And are you getting one? Have you fallen into the hype? Are you getting it? Do you want it? Do you want to run your games at 60 frames per second? Yes. Not completely 60 frames per second. Do you want quality mode that dips on you? And I'm not.
It already dips. That's not going to be a.
Are you getting it?
I want to.
I would. I think a better use of money of that same price point would be for me to upgrade my monitors and TVs. Just because, and I mean, the fact that my TV is bigger than an inch lets you know that it's a thick like that's funny that's a thick TV now. Like it's bigger than an inch. Like no, actually, I'll say my TV is probably about 3 inches. It's probably about that. That's a big boy. That's old TV. So I don't even have the cables or the actual peripherals to utilize what the current PS5 can maximum put out. Yeah. So the idea of going and getting a Pro I don't have anything to fully, even my old monitors, I don't have newer monitors. Like $700 would be better spent upgrading all my other stuff to enjoy the current PS5 rather than going and buying the PS5 Pro. That's just me.
I think FOMO is kind of creeping up on me, but I'm going to resist it for right now because there's no reason for me to get one. I'm not seeing enough. Oh, but the detail is just a little bit better now. Okay, great. But
I think it also depends on what are the games that you want to play. There are definite people who want the Pro for like the best version they can get currently of like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. One that I was looking at, like the Digital Foundry of that I was very impressed was like the Stellar Blade. Like Stellar Blade looks amazing on the PS5 Pro because they removed like the actual game TAA aliasing to basically replace it with the PS5 Pro version of it. And it looks a lot better. And the image quality looks a lot better.
That part.
I think the problem is, yes, most of these games will be on PC eventually. Stellar Blade already has a PC version in the works. I'm sure Rebirth already does too. They already have Epic engineers that work on PC builds, and hopefully it doesn't have like a weird exclusive with Epic Games like the other games that Square Enix worked on had.
It's going to be. It's going to be.
Yeah.
So that's the sad part.
Hopefully it's not as long as like freaking Kingdom Hearts was. We don't want to wait 4 years to play it on Steam.
The fact that it was such a big deal to launch it on Steam because of how that's
I don't know, man. I see a lot of people are split as well. They're like, I want it, but at the same time, I can't justify it. I don't know. I don't really know.
I mean, if you're someone who has a really, really good TV, and you can understand how it works with the 4K quality. There's even some games that are actually now outputting at 8K quality on the PS5 Pro, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't actually try leading with that, but I wonder if it's because they don't think that all the third-party developers are going to actually focus on 8K as a resolution, because it'd be the only thing that could do 8K. Because even games on like Steam, 8K isn't the norm. We don't use 8K monitors very often, and if you are, you're like Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
Most of the normal people are still. I mean, heck, we still have like the most common graphics cards leaning towards like 1080p or 1440p, not even 4K as like the most mainline graphics card systems. We do have graphic cards that can go up to 4K and 8K, but they're not going to be utilized for that nearly as much as it's going to be like, well, now I can just do 1440p at 200 frames per second. Why do I want to do 8K at 30? So it's one of those things where if you have
prettier.
Yeah, it looks prettier. If you're like that person that has really good like graphics eyes, like there are people who like can't stand 1080p anymore because they went to 4K, and it's just like now you can see all the problems of the details because of 1080p. You can see like the corners that get cut to make it that way. Like I'm also part of this problem. I no longer can put my Nintendo Switch on my TV anymore because I have a 4K TV. I put a Nintendo Switch on there, and it's just like, this sucks.
It's ruined it. I will tell you this. This is what made me funny enough, and it's the Transformers. I remember when I want to say it was Blu-ray, the first Transformers movie hit Blu-ray, and I went to a friend's house and they had a very expensive TV setup. And it ruined the movie. It made it look like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Because like you could clearly see what was CGI. Yeah. Like the magic was gone. And I was like, I don't like super high quality stuff like that. Like I'm here to enjoy the magic. I don't care to be able to tell that rock is fake and that one is real.
Yeah.
But I remember watching it like, this is like a PowerPoint. So for me, that's why I'm not always itching to have the best high quality, but the top quality, because for me, I'm not a graphics junkie. I want to enjoy it. Like I usually put things in quality mode and not performance mode, like just because I just would rather it look okay. Like I don't need it to be, like, what do you mean you don't have it at this and that? And I'm like, whoa, guys, I just want to watch it.
I mean, the PS5 Pro has a lot of good things going for it in terms of it basically helping close the gap between like performance and graphics modes. Though I also think that it also introduces a new problem where they added more modes. They added like a newer graphics mode to be like even prettier. Now it's native 4K. Now it's this. And now we have better ray tracing options. And it's just like, if you are someone who cares a lot about ray tracing, if you're someone who cares a lot about having more graphics modes, then sure, PS5 Pro is for you. Unless, you have a good PC that already does most of that for you. Which the PS5 Pro, apparently when like the ray tracing does get utilized, it looks very good. Games like Alan Wake 2 show off the ray tracing very well on the PlayStation 5 Pro. The problem, though, is that not everything is going to utilize that use of ray tracing or some of like the PSSR, because third-party developers are still going to be focusing on the base product. There may be pro enhancements. Sometimes they are good, and I think one of the best things about the PS5 Pro, ironically, that hasn't been talked a lot about, is you can now overclock that CPU. You are now able to get better frames, but only by a little bit. But still, a little bit is still better than not a bit. But you can actually overclock the CPU to utilize your GPU a lot better too. So there's a lot of things you can do with the PS5 Pro that allow you to expand upon your gaming sessions.
Which only goes back to show if they had given it a better CPU, they would be in a better situation. The same stuff people have been saying for a while, but but I will say this. I don't think that I don't know. I'll have to wait and see how my bank account agrees and how I'm feeling, which is ultimately the reason why I would get a PlayStation 5 Pro. But if not this year, then definitely next year, because the games coming next year will be the reason why people will get it. Grand Theft Auto 6. You're definitely you can't get it on PC.
Yeah, GTA 6 is gonna probably be the biggest uptake of PS5 Pro sales, because Xbox Series X right now is just basically an Xbox Series X without a disc drive.
Yeah,
you just get a very lesser version of it.
You just got one up and you did nothing about it. So that's gonna be interesting. But not just that, there's a lot of PlayStation exclusive games coming out next year, which is gonna be interesting to see how it does. And it's gonna be interesting to see how, because we're close to Black Friday and Christmas, how much the PlayStation 5 Pro sells during the shopping holiday.
Wait to spend my money.
Yeah, honestly, I see that PS5 might do more sales just because they might actually discount it for Black Friday this year. Next year, maybe the year after that, will be the PS5 Pro discounts.
We got what? We got Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei. Is it Yotei?
Yeah, Ghost of Yotei.
That's coming out next year. What is it? What is that? March?
I think it's early 2025. I don't know the full date.
Maybe he didn't give it a release date, but that would be the reason. All right, I need this now.
Yeah.
All right, I need this now.
When I think it just says early 2025.
But yeah, now I freaking need you, lover.
So there are games that will probably utilize PS5 Pro better now that it's out and developers have a lot more access to it. But it's going to be a bit of time till you have more games that utilize it. I'm sure there are going to be some companies that will do absolutely nothing with it. You just have to hope that Sony actually utilizes it themselves. They're always the ones that sometimes have the issue of utilizing their own technology.
Right. And that they're going to be just like Nintendo in that aspect. They're going to develop a game specifically for this console. This is what we can do with this. Let's see it go.
The next Astro game is going to go hard on the PS5 Pro.
God. Do you think they knew Astro Boy was going to be the hit that it is?
Hell no. No way.
No.
They didn't know.
They would have added more budget. Knowing Sony, whenever they think something's going to do well, they'll just load it up to infinity when it comes to more money resources.
Don't forget once Call of Duty, which is ironic, once Call of Duty gets the Pro update.
Yeah, they're getting Pro enhancements for Call of Duty.
It's going like, well, yeah.
Which is ironic because it kind of goes against the whole Xbox thing where they said that they were going to make it so that there was going to be console parity so that no console was going to outperform the other. But now the Pro's out and guess who's going to outperform all the other consoles?
What happened was
we saw the dollar signs.
We saw PlayStation sells a lot of Call of Duty.
And they were like, screw it. And it's going to outsell your own console. That's without getting too much into those politics. The PlayStation 5 Pro is going to outsell your Xbox Series X because you're giving it updates. So the game that you own is going to sell like gangbangers on your opponent's console.
Yeah, guess which console is going to be the best at running Indiana Jones?
Also, the haptic feedback on the controller. I remember I played the beta for Call of Duty.
Haptic feedback's a game changer.
Oh, the trigger pull and then feeling the gun jam. Oh,
yes.
And all the rumors of PlayStation or Xbox is going to have a controller haptic feedback. Okay, where is it?
Yeah.
Where the hell is it, guys?
Yeah, they do make new controllers all the time, but I haven't seen any like blueprints for them yet.
All these new freaking controllers, but you have done nothing in terms of making a brand new controller with new technology. I mean, you're going to keep making the butt controller for everything and translucent controllers and whatnot, but you can't make.
They made a really good design on the 360, and then they just stuck with that.
Yeah,
and that's basically been the same controller since.
Yeah, it has been actually. It has been.
Yeah,
it really has been. That's a shame, but what can I say? You know what?
Curse of the Golden Goose. You can apply it to a lot of things, man. When something works, it's kind of hard to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And then you see the way people buy controllers. Clearly, they did something right.
Because it's the I don't want to say FOMO, because that's also a big thing when it comes to controllers. It's just like, oh, pretty, and I want it. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what, I have to stop doing it. Not just PlayStation or Xbox, but PlayStation does the same crap. Spider-Man controllers and other controllers, like, oh, these are pretty. The Astrobot controller, like, ooh,
I did fall for that FOMO, but I still use it.
The last FOMO purchase for me was the Spider-Man 2 controller. After that,
I still use that.
See,
wait, no, you haven't bought no other controller since then? None.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got really tempted at getting the Dragon Quest Xbox controller though.
I missed the Dragon Quest. I missed the what was the one that just came out for
wait, Dragon Quest had a controller?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
I was thinking Concord. I didn't pick up the Concord controller because that did look pretty cool. I didn't pick up the Concord controller. They're not going to make any
more of those anymore.
And that's why I kind of regret not buying it, because that's going to be an easy $500 controller. Easy.
Yeah.
What other controller did I miss that came out recently? The Astro Boy, the Concord. There was another controller that came out and I completely passed on it.
From who?
I don't remember, and it's killing me.
Was it Xbox or PlayStation?
That's what I'm saying, because I was in a controller buying frenzy. But I was really hoping that they would have came out with a PlayStation version of the Sea of Thieves controller. That's what I was truly hoping for.
I'm really hoping they come out with an Xbox controller for Spider-Man 2 when it comes out for a PC. I doubt they will, but I really want them to.
That would have been nice. Oh, that's a badass controller.
Told you, I almost fell for it.
What controller? You didn't show me.
He dropped it in the chat. That's a cool controller. It's clean.
What is this? Oh,
I just really like the color scheme.
Well,
it just feels like they just wanted the controller theme thingy and just
they kind of did.
That's all it looks like.
What more did you want from them?
They wanted the slime. They wanted to go back to the old days where the slime controller showed up.
What is that one controller that's coming out? It's red. What is that from PlayStation? That's not coming out over new.
Oh, the Monster Hunter one.
Yeah, that's what I want. You asked me what I want. That I want. I want cool things on the controller. I want a nice matching color scheme. I want it to look something like it's not a generic controller. That they just, we'll just change this color and put this on here. No, I want that.
It's like, give it here. I just hate that I have to like fight for these companies to sell me stuff. Like, why? Like, it's not that we won't buy it. Like, I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. The X-Men controllers from Xbox. Like, why didn't you just sell the packaging and sell? I'd have just bought a box, to be honest with you. Like it.
I'm telling you this right now, and this is really very, very dumb. But I know people are gonna buy that controller, the Monster Hunter controller, and put it on eBay, and I'm gonna buy it.
Oh yeah.
As long as it's not over a certain amount, I'm gonna buy it. Just because the fact is you can only get this controller through PlayStation in certain regions over in the East.
Dude, did you
most places like PlayAsia and whatnot will likely not get it.
Yeah.
Which
did you see that one guy who picked up a one of the special employee PlayStation controllers from a GameStop? Like somebody had traded it in. Like it was from Sony. Like there was only so many of those made, and it was just at a GameStop. Like crazy. I keep hoping to come across a Metal Gear Solid Metal Gear Solid PlayStation 4, the red one with the gold trim. Like I keep hoping to come across one of those.
You would buy, even though you would just buy it just for having it?
Just to have it. Hell yeah. Come on, man. It's the boss.
Somehow we digressed into controllers because that's what we do. So we'd rather buy these controllers right now than buy a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yes. 3 times over.
And that's not saying it's a bad thing. It just,
I mean, I can get like 6 controllers and still have money. Whereas PS5 Pro, I won't have.
Or I could get that Forza controller and the Sea of Thieves controller.
That reminded me of? They did do that, you bastards. They did a DualShock 4 Monster Hunter controller when Monster Hunter World first came out. Yep, and it was only Japanese as well.
Jeez.
God, I hate.
Did they not realize that there's actually an audience for Monster World in the West?
I guess not, because they keep screwing us over, and that was a pretty cool controller too.
I mean, look, we had to fight to get Godzilla. We had to fight. Like, remember that? Like, people had to go and watch it multiple times in order for us to get it to the run that it made. Like, they didn't even believe we'd watch it. That's crazy. That's the world we live in, where they didn't believe we'd watch Godzilla.
Oh man, they got a pre-owned one on eBay. I just buy it just to have it.
No, don't do it. You're not going to use it.
No. You won't.
I mean, I don't use my Sea of Thieves controller. It just sits.
That's what I was going to say. My Spider-Man one's in the box. Like, I just look at it. It makes me feel good about myself. I won't even show people. It's for me. It's my trophy. Just like my Starfield controller.
I think we're going to wrap it up because we'll be here all night.
Yes.
So once again, everybody, thanks for checking out Spectator Mode Podcast, episode 170. I'm pretty sure it's 170. I'm getting old. I might forget. And of course, thank you, Baron, for jumping on the show. Since you're here, why not pitch what you got?
Yes. So coming up on November 16th, we have. Oh God, my kids are crying. It's coming up on November 16th. We have the 2024 celebration of gaming that we like to do at LV1 Gaming every year, and it's just our big roundup. And I hear my kids wailing, and I'm so sorry. But yes, they are okay now. Okay. And so, yes, we're going to be having everybody. We're going to be having folks from IGN, Giant Bomb, and then of course we're going to be having somebody special from the Outerhaven.net. I think he's on screen with us right now.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, he'll definitely be there, and we're going to have a whole hour to talk about Souls games and what are not Souls games. But yeah, so that's coming up on the 16th. That's going to be from 10 a.m. CST. And it's going to run for 8 hours. I can't count or tell time very well. God. So, yeah. Don't worry. You're only on for an hour or as long as you want.
So you don't be talking to the IGN guys? Man.
If you look, hey, you're welcome. But yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. That's what we got upcoming. As you guys can see, I just did the Mirthwood review that just went out today. I'll be creating some content around that. And then in a little bit after this show, you'll see me live playing Veilguard, the Veilguard for the first time.
Will you be streaming it?
Yes, I'll be streaming it live at youtube.com/LV1 Gaming 20. Because there was 19 other people before us.
There you go.
Jeez.
Well, 20 because 21.
Don't think about it too hard.
And for us, you can always find us here over at the Outerhaven.net. You can check us out over on Twitter as long as we're there at the Outerhaven. And of course, we also are now on that other media site called Blue Sky, which once again, you can find us at Outerhaven. As well, you can check us out on YouTube. We're doing some pretty cool stuff over there. Not as cool as Baron, but we're trying to get there. We're looking up to them. And you can also find us over at Apple Podcasts. So if you check out our stuff on Apple Podcasts, please do us a favor and leave a review. It helps us very much over there. There's like a bazillion podcasts over there. It's a jungle. Please help us. Also on Spotify, Buzzsprout, and anywhere else you find podcasts. I'm pretty sure Ghost Carl is tapping me because I forgot something, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. Pretty sure I didn't.
He's like, I did it. Did
it all. So once again, everybody, thanks for checking us out, and we appreciate you. So be sure to check back next time on Spectator Mode Podcast. Take it easy.
See ya.